Welcome everybody. This is Avoiding Death by Webinar, and it's about effective presentations in this virtual context that we're in. And where we want to go today is, well, first let me introduce myself. My name is John Losey. I know some of us go way back. I just was noticing Mark over here. I can't remember what we first met in Colorado a bunch of years ago, and some other people who I've met more recently. But to let you know a little bit about who I am, I started off in doing camping and conferencing, and then I moved into consulting, and then I moved into the corporate world, where in 2009, we started doing webinars in the organization I was in, and we learned that webinars are different than in-person presentations, and I'll talk a little bit about what the differences are later on. And then I came out of the corporate world and back into consulting, mostly around leadership development, professional development, organizational development, doing coaching and consulting. But in the last 6-7 months, I've been tossed into this virtual world. I've been working with Zoom for 3 years, worked in WebEx before that, GoToMeeting. So I've jumped around the platforms a bit. So what I'm talking about isn't just for Zoom. It's for all the different platforms that you might experience. So as we step into this, I want to talk a little bit about, so that's a little bit about who I am, and I want to get into the webinars that we've all been experiencing, and I want to get your take on what's good and what's bad about them. The biggest thing that I've noticed when we started working with, and I've worked with executives, I've worked with trainers, I've worked with teachers, I've worked with really a broad population, and I've worked with some fantastic in-person facilitators and teachers. And when we put them online, when they started doing webinars, they crashed and burned. And so back in 2009, we had our best trainers do a webinar, and it was horrific. Not because they weren't good teachers, leaders, facilitators, it was because it was a different platform that demanded different skills. And slightly tweaking some of them that they had, and also acquiring some brand new ones. We also discovered it wasn't all the facilitator's fault. You had to have a different design. You had to look at what you're trying to do a little bit differently. So whether I do a lot of my own design for my presentations and my facilitation, so that's one thing. But when you're trying to present somebody else's design and they haven't designed it for the right platform, it makes it really difficult to adapt to it. So we're going to look at both of those aspects, the design aspect, also the presentation aspect, and we'll see how far we can get through there. Now, there's two very different types of webinars. There's more than that, but I'm going to divide it up into live and recorded. Now, give me a thumbs up, either reaction or otherwise, if you've ever done a recorded webinar. Anybody? Anybody do recorded ones? Okay. What about live webinars? Okay. Now, have you been to, can you spot the difference between a live and recorded webinar? And give me a thumbs up if you can spot the difference between a live and a recorded webinar. Okay. Kind of, I see a few kind of in there. So I want you to think about that, and if I had to use just a couple of words about what this workshop is about, it's about, if you think through the eyes of your participant, that's what this is about. Because you're going to be asked to do pre-recorded, and you're going to ask to do live webinars, and you need to think about the person watching it. There's a big push right now. I'm helping design a few conferences right now. And the people who are organizing it all want to do pre-recorded. Why do they want to do pre-recorded? Not because it's better, because it's less risk. And they're afraid of what might happen when you go live. And rightfully so. But the fact of the matter is, live or pre-recorded, there's going to be technological difficulties around what we're doing. So let's a little bit about how we're going to get through this, and then I want to get your perspective on what's most important for you today. What we'll do is I'm going to do my best to model a good webinar, and I'm sure I'm going to fall short of everything that I say, so please take my performance with a grain of salt, but I know what I'm going to deliver is good stuff. But don't try to do it all at once. Pick one or two things that work for you and try it out. So we're going to cover, there's 5 areas that we're going to look at in this. Just to be a good educator, I'm going to talk about the outcomes. This is the outcomes we're looking at. I want to introduce you to 5 areas that will help improve your online virtual presentation skills. I want you to walk away with this, with confidence that you can do better than what's already being done out there. And I want you to build a vision that there's a role for webinars, virtual presentations, virtual facilitation. Right now, definitely. But even afterwards, there's a role for this that could make your in-person content, your in-person workshops, your courses, even that much more powerful if it's done right. The topics we're looking at are going to be general presentation skills. Like what thumbs up if you've been to a presentation skills workshop at all in your life. Anybody ever been to a presentation skills workshop? Toastmasters? Any Toastmasters out there? Okay, Jessica's wondering what Toastmasters are. So these are all sources that you can go to for live presentation skills. And I want to find out what are the transferable skills, because we can't throw everything out. There's still some things that transfer over. So presentation skills that are transferable to the virtual world. Second one is visual. This is a very visual medium, even though we aren't in person. And a little brain science here, 50 to 70% of your brain is dedicated to visual stimulus and visual processing. And so if we aren't tending to the visual aspects of this medium, then we're missing out on a big piece of it. Audio, the audio aspect. So it's visual, audio. We're going to look at, one option is looking at engagement and interaction. And then the last topic is presentation design. Now, this is a bunch of information. And we're not going to get through it all. I can't go through it and do it justice, all of it today. So I want to find out from you guys, what is most important to you that we cover? And I'm going to do that by giving you, again, the same Mentimeter link, the same polling link, but I want you to go to the poll, and we're going to talk about the transferable one. So of visual, audio, engagement and interaction, and presentation design, what is rank those based on the importance to you today. What do you really want to cover, and rank them 1 to 4? Any questions on any troubles getting to Mentimeter? Or yes, I can post those in chat. We're talking visual, audio, engagement, and design. So those 4 areas, and I want you to just take a moment. What's most important to you to figure out, and then that's where I'm gonna spend the time today. All right, we'll do full disclosure here, and I'll show you the results of your poll. This is what we're looking at. We've got engagement and interaction, presentation design, visual, and audio taking up the rear. And we're gonna start off just talking about transferable skills, and we'll go there in just a minute.